For the last 4 days, the country has been experiencing an acute fuel shortage, mainly of super petrol, with most motorists queuing in different stations that still had limited stocks. And after continuous blame game between the government and oil marketing companies, the government appeared to eat a humble pie, admitting that the problem was a perennial one.
We are dealing with an aged refinery, which is not able to operate at capacity, and even the allocation we have given it, it is not able to meet. And this has caused some major frustrations.
Kiraitu says the country is still ill-prepared, with no fuel strategic reserves that can help cushion the country in times of crisis, despite proposals being made to the Treasury 3 years ago.
There's an urgent case for the country to establish strategic reserves up country, so that when we don't, if there are hitches in the supply system, there could be sabotage even in the pipeline, so that if there is any interference, we can survive even for a few days as we wait to rectify the problems and bring up the products.
The government has also come up with measures aimed at addressing the delays that have resulted in fuel shortages like the one currently being experienced, and they include entering into talks with Treasury to review use of oil stocks as collateral by oil companies and increasing allocation to National Oil Corporation. But oil marketing companies will not go without being apportioned some blame for not making orders in time, with the government attributing these speculative tendencies following the move to cut on diesel and kerosene taxes.
Some of the products which can come, the taxes are not being paid. And therefore, some oil companies were waiting for the tax to go down so that they can go and pay. And therefore, they were holding back so that they could go and pay less taxes.
I'm worried about my stations getting dry. This is the only issue. Which school teach me to keep my station dry as a marketer? It doesn't make sense.
The minister explained that other causes of the current supply shortfall included the fact that the winner of the previous import tender brought in 7 million liters of crude oil, less than had been expected, a power outage that disrupted operations at the refinery last week, and failure by oil marketing firms to raise guarantees and other taxes before they could be allowed to upload fresh supplies over the Labor Day weekend. Kiraitu says the government remains committed to protect consumers.
So whatever they do, we are not going to remove these controls. I think that message needs to go out very clear.
At State House, Nairobi, President Kibaki instructed the Ministries of Finance and Energy alongside other relevant government agencies to ensure that fuel supply immediately returns to normal and future disruptions avoided. The Energy Minister will be convening an all-stakeholder meeting to address the perennial problem in 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, the government is optimistic the supply of petrol will be stabilized by Friday, with over 36 million liters already at KPC Nairobi Terminal. It is 2:30 in one of the fueling stations in the Central Business District, but this particular station doesn't have sufficient petrol. This despite the government giving assurance that come the end of Wednesday, there'll be sufficient supply of the commodity. So who is fooling who between the government and the oil marketers? Tony Sanya, Citizen.